Hello everyone, I am Surrender the Awesome and I'm back, and I'm ready to look at some more r/OhNoConsequences. But before I get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if I can't convince you, perhaps this picture of my kitten will convince you. And random fact about my cat society is that apparently 10% of the population is pretty certain that my cat is actually a toaster. And also before I get started, don't forget to check out my other channel, Surrender Reviews, where I do video game, movie, and show reviews, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. And without further ado, let's get into this. So this first post here says, OP grossly mismanages their employees and gets fired. Last update is hopeful at least. And this person here says, is the work environment I've created on my team too exclusive? I am writing this question based on feedback received from an exit interview. A woman in her mid-30s left my department after a little over a year. When giving her notice, she commented that she was taking a job closer to home. She had an hour commute each way some days, and had wanted to go back to a position closer to her original line of work. Her senior team members and I were sad to see her go. HR sent me the results of her exit interview and wanted to discuss the cultural problems in my department. On the exit interview, the former employee mentioned that my staff leaves at lunch one day per week to go to the brewery for a beer run, which is true, I allow this, and she was often the only team member in the office. Her fellow associates were unwilling to assist her and spent time on social media such as Snapchat, creating an exclusive environment. She was more quiet, older than the 20-somethings in the position, and was not much into social media, and the interdepartmental relationships create power dynamics that ruin morale. One of my newly promoted seniors was sleeping with an associate, and it wasn't noticed by me or any of the other executives. Yeah, it sounds like you probably maybe need to do something about some of the problems here. Anyways, this person goes on to say, I don't feel like this is a cultural issue. I think it was her not being a good fit for our team. I do allow my staff to go to breweries as long as they have coverage. Yeah. Again, I find that just a little hard to believe. I encourage my staff to be friends in and outside of work, and I cannot monitor relationships. At no point did the employee bring this to my attention during our informal one-on-ones. She was extremely quiet and kept to herself. She didn't mingle with the team because her commute and commitments she had, and she's married with a kid and recently bought a house. Am I in the wrong, or is the former employee just out of touch with how a team of professional millennials works? And some more details that OP has provided here says, there was some more to this that came out after she left. Her co-workers in her pod had taken pictures of her and captioned them inappropriately on Snapchat, making fun of her weight, her clothes, style, how much water she drank, etc. Someone who had seen them had saved them and also complained to HR. When I found out who complained, I went to move them to another team. Yeah, you don't really sound like you're that great as manager, if I'm being perfectly honest. Anyways, this person here goes on to say, we are an insurance/brokerage firm as part of a larger Fortune 500 company. The brewery was owned by a company whose business we are trying to attract. No one has ever asked her, but just assumed that she would cover for them because she made statements about how she wasn't really that much of a drinker anyway. The associates sleeping with one another was knowledge across the team by that point, but not to me. They did work in the same accounts, so they were just reporting to one another. I am 28, and this was my first management job. I went to build a team that would work well with me and share my ideas of a good time, so work is fun. If I knew she would be like this, I would have pushed back on my director to not hire her in favor of someone who is younger, but she had a fantastic background that wowed my higher-ups. And a first update from OP here says, I was fired today without severance. When my letter was published, I was already on suspension based on the exit interview investigation, poor management practices, and complaints from other areas, none of which I believe are accurate. HR and the management team stated that I had mismanaged my team and the ex-employee. I had given assignments what were meant for her and assigned to her by my director to other team members on the team because I wanted to develop them, including my newly promoted senior. As a manager, I knew my team better. Giving special assignments to her, even though it was her role, screwed over my long-term members who would complain to me. I had also downgraded her end-of-year evaluation. I don't think she deserved the praise she received from the sales staff, my director, and client executives. Her work just wasn't that good to me. I thought if my team and I froze her out, she would leave. I call it unmanaging. My team found her quietness and her ability to develop sales presentations and connect with each client was very show-off-like. When she would ask for help, we didn't take it seriously because we thought she acted like she knew everything and she was making us look bad by always going above and beyond for no reason. My team and I had worked together for about 5 to 6 years, so I knew them, their work, and their personalities better than anyone else, so I took what they said with more seriousness. I also thought that her years of experience were irrelevant. She didn't have anything beyond a bachelor's degree. Most of us were smart and dedicated enough to get a master's degree, and her experience was in a different subset of insurance. Well, a bachelor's degree is still impressive. Anyways, this person here goes on to say, HR and my regional vice president stated that she had been hired to fill a role for a growing segment of our business and should have functioned as a team consultant. I used her as an associate, so it didn't make waves with the rest of the team. By losing her, we lost clients and leverage in the marketplace. Our sales territory couldn't afford to lose any more business under my mismanagement, and the HR was worried about damage to the brand name. During her employment, my director and I had several meetings on her role, as she also dotted line reported to him. I had continued to be insubordinate because my ex-employee, in my opinion, didn't fit in and needed to earn her way to what my director had envisioned for her. If her role had panned out, she would have been higher up than me after 2 years when I had been there for 5. Well, we call that a skill issue. Anyways, this person goes on to say, HR told me the brewery runs were against company policy, and I should have stopped the Snapchats, especially those who had it on their company phones. I disagree that it was bullying because she wasn't on Snap, so if she didn't see it, how was it bullying? I also don't know how, or if, I should have monitored this with my team. My entire team was fired. The reasons for the firings included alcohol at work, even though we were physically at the brewery, inappropriate social media behavior, and not meeting the code of conduct. I'm not sure the lesson, or lessons, I'm supposed to learn. I feel like I was just the scapegoat for a favorite employee's reason to leave. Being dedicated to your work doesn't mean you can't have fun at the same time. My former team and I are wondering if we can take action against ex-employee. Her exit interview damaged our reputation, our team, and our careers. It sounds more like you should probably maybe learn from this and probably realize why this happened. And another update from OP here says, I wanted to provide an update. I spent August and the first half of September attending some pretty intensive therapy, which was beneficial. In therapy, I learned how to deal with people who challenged me past my comfort zone, and it also made me step back and realize that I don't ever want to manage again, and that my personality is not one suited for management. I also had the ability to step back and review my behavior. I was self-destructive in the workplace, and those behaviors rubbed off on my team, as my team members were younger and more impressionable. I plan to continue individual therapy. I did get a new job. I started in a new position in marketing, which is what my degree degree is in, it's a few steps above entry level in a small firm where I will be under more supervision. I'm excited to move on from my mistakes. Thank you to you and your readers for your advice. While the comments were harsh, I took the time to read them a few times over throughout the course of therapy. It's tough to hear how much people think you suck, but it helped me get back on track. I wish you and your readers the best for the remainder of 2017 and beyond. Okay, I'm gonna probably give this a me approved out of 50. Last update definitely, made the whole thing better. And, yeah, I hope that OP continues to grow and improve, especially since they, don't really want to be anywhere near a management position. And, yeah, that probably is all I gotta say. And I think with that, that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.